Did anyone bring a question?
Are you the speaker who's been with us recently?
Recently?
Are you the speaker who came to us last time we had this gathering?
That would pose an interesting question. We handed out business cards. Still settling in. We do not use names as you do because our existence is different than how you perceive existence. For us, we are collections, a symphony of lights or sounds, frequencies, energies. It depends on the state of mind that you are in as to how you perceive us. We are not necessarily coherent at all times. Often we allow ourselves to drift in much the same way as humanity drifts. You have humanity, and then you have individuals. Do the individuals represent humanity by themselves? I would think not. But together, these individuals compose humanity. Now, this is not the same as it is for all of us that you deem as spirits or souls or intelligences. Some of us continue our coherence for a time. Others of us allow ourselves to, well, to dissipate is not the proper term, but to exist as, well, sparks, if you will. Is that comprehensible to you?
No.
I see. Well, let me just say that sometimes we are just lying about until we feel the urge or hear the urge or the call to participate.
Oh,
Is that
that I can understand.
And with that, have any questions formulated within the minds of those in attendance?
I have something. Last week, Reverend Phillips sent us a printout called Life Cannot Be Stagnant. And one of the paragraphs had an interesting, it kind of, it resonated with me. And I just wanted to ask your insight on it or your thoughts. What if the soul was never an unchanging aspect of being, but resonance of a person's thoughts, beliefs, morals, and other sublime aspects of being? What if the soul was the center point of life, the container of a person's potential, and was dynamic? I ask that you consider the discovery of a divine presence within our life as we question the cause, we discover something unforeseen, a different quality of harmony. And it goes on. I know this is an enormous subject to talk about, but I just it made sense to me on that level, and I just was um, wondering what your thoughts were if it was never an unchanging aspect of being, but a resonance of people's thoughts, etc. I just wondered if you have had any comments on that.
Well, that could easily be a description of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
However, I feel another who would like to respond to this. As the teachings go among your people, among your teachers, gurus, and such, the soul is unchanging. If the soul was unchanging, there would be no purpose for the soul to become material or corporeal. What would be the purpose in that? Thus, the soul must be dynamic. It must change. It must expand. It must contract. All of nature, wherever you go, its principles are there. Cause and effect are constants. And as constants, they are unchanging because they are change itself. There is nothing that remains the same or unchangeable in the perspectives that many of you prefers, which is stagnation. Stagnation is neither growth nor decay. Stagnation is, in a sense, non-existence, non-participatory, non, well, just none. If there is no change, again, what is the purpose? Purpose involves change. A goal involves change. Inspiration involves change. Everything that you think, desire, seek after involves change. Thus, the soul must also be changeable. Mutable is the term. Mutable. All that you take into you, whether it is of a material substance or an intangible abstract substance, all of it nourishes the soul. It is not that the soul continues forever, but the soul becomes reconstituted. You are not just who you are at this very moment. Your soul encompasses all that you were, all that you have encountered. And if you slip the bounds, the enthrallment of time, your soul is also all that you become, all that you have encountered. Now, that may be difficult to accept, Therefore, what aspects do you not comprehend so that I may elaborate?
I really, you really answered it for me in the constant context of the question. Um, um, I, you did really answer it for me. Let me just look and see if there was a specific, uh,
That question was also put forth to the others as well. And I am assuming all comprehended what was offered.
Yes, it makes sense.
mhm,
I can relate to that.
mhm.
Are there any other questions that you might like to broach?
Do, do, does the collection of your various light sounds or frequencies, do you all have your own divinity? Like we in human
What
form
is
do?
divinity?
You know, that's hard to put into words. What would you call divinity, Ken?
You see, your kind have so many terms.
We do,
Higher self,
yes.
authentic self, true self, primordial self. There is so much confusion that a question, although it appears very simple to you, is not to us.
I'll
Those,
give it a shot. What is divinity? It's your own true nature.
Then the question has been answered. To my knowledge, it is your nature. Thus, if you are asking what our nature is, it is far more complex than you would comprehend, or that this form can put into words.
okay,
It is something that must be experienced. So you have discovered an unanswerable question. My congratulations.
thank you.
Well, I think when you're in meditation, you come to it through your own stillness, your own silence, your own acceptance
Yes,
of who and what you are.
you become immersed in us. And what is it about us? All of you, each of you, focus on individuality, separating yourselves from the whole. And through your separation, you get caught up in pieces. And in your misdirection, you believe the pieces to be the whole. And therefore, you have deceived not only yourself, but those who come to you seeking guidance because of your insistence on being different from everyone else. And the foolhardy part of that entire concept is that in your insistence of separating yourself, you are no different than everybody else. How ironic, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Yes.
To experience us, you must follow the steps of the teacher that is here. perhaps your teacher would like to elaborate. Although it is understood that he is reticent in doing such.
Hmm.
Therefore, what might your question be as it has been reformulated? I believe the proper way of reformulating your question would be, do we have a God that we worship?
Yes, that would be,
And the answer to that could be a deception or not. Which would you prefer?
the or not.
Or not?
I do not want to be deceived by you.
I am not entirely confident that you are ready for such a truth
Okay,
as that.
I can accept that.
As many of you cling to God, this one is wrestling with that very concept. How can you reconcile God as it is taught with us as we speak, not only through this one, but through the many across the globe that seek something more? Of course, even they prefer to deceive themselves. And it is not that they do so purposefully. You can only comprehend that which you are prepared to accept. Because anything that is presented that you are not prepared for will simply pass through you less than a passing thought. Thus, let us pursue that question. How can you reconcile that which you call God with our presence? Have any of you attempted to do so? Now bear in mind that we will not correct you in any way, but we will affirm and support the direction that each of you may choose. Of course, in order for a response, someone must respond to the question. And since there are no responses to the question,
Well, I have just one thought.
yes,
How can you reconcile God with our presence? Um, I've never felt the need to have to do so. I don't know if that's bad or that's good, but I've always felt that there was the connection, there was the divine connection, and I never questioned it past that.
divine connection.
Hmm.
Please clarify.
Well, I would say that it's hard to put into words, but your path, your teachings, everything that has brought you to where you are right now has been your way, your path, you, it's you. And I feel like that has a connection to to a divine order, or maybe not an order, but a connection. It has a connection.
Best if you continue along the lines of the divine order.
Okay,
It
okay,
will work better for you.
okay, okay, okay.
Are there any other responses?
I just feel validated when presences like yourself come through, because I have felt inside that there are other entities besides us, besides humans residing on Earth, other intelligences,
There are many
many.
forms of existence.
Yes, and that
The
excites
one
me.
you are accustomed to is merely one of many. As some of your authors write, the earth is populated by many beings, not just yourselves. Some care for the planet more so than you, some less. Fortunately, the manner in which this planet is treated reflects mainly upon that particular form of existence. But it does affect all existences, just as a single thought from each of you affects each who are in attendance. And then as they go out, affects those that they associate with. Such is the rippling effect. So existence exists in many forms. We do not, well, I should not say we, I do not like the term dimension or planes because that suggests a separation. And there is no separation. There is flow. There are transition points, doorways, if you call them, thresholds, not necessarily barriers, because a barrier prevents movement. These merely move you from one to the other. And occasionally, some become lost.
Hmm.
Does this help in your validation?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yes. Mhm.
Are there any other questions you might like addressed?
What happens to the lost ones?
Lost ones? Clarify, please.
You said that occasionally some become lost, some existences
Well,
become lost.
obviously, those who become lost cannot return to that which they have become lost from. You might call it a transition of sorts.
You say some can become lost.
Yes,
He said that.
not find their way back from whence they began. It is like going on a journey without a map.
Hmm.
See, your perception of mind is not yet progressed to the point to where you can comprehend the full concept of mind. You are simply not ready for that, which is why we do not broach the subject.
Mhm.
Perhaps lost was the wrong term. Perhaps a better term would be that they are unable to return from whence they began. Of course, in a simpler format, it would be easier to just say they die. The body dies. And from there, your beliefs can continue on with what happens to them. For in truth, no one truly knows of anything outside of their own present existence. Even we do not fully understand your existence, just as you do not fully understand ours. Do you understand?
Yes, I think so.
I understand a little better.
Well, yeah, a little better.
Philip said, do you understand? And
Yeah,
understand.
I think so. I can understand. It makes sense to me that that we don't know any of anything outside. No one truly knows of anything outside our present existence. And I can totally understand that in my life, in me, but I guess I didn't expect that to be something that you have also, that spirit that you as a teacher also experiences. That never occurred to me.
Many of you look upon us as all knowing, all seeing,
Yes,
omniscient.
yes, yes.
That is a fallacy.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Are there any other questions you might like broached?
No, not me.
I don't
Mhm,
at
mhm.
this time. But you can. I see a question.
Oh, I don't really have a question, I have a comment, I think I do. Whether I can hear well or not, or even if I don't hear what you're saying, the effect is still there. So I get something out of it, whether I physically hear it or not. It's just being here.
Mhm,
Voice is merely one level of communication.
mhm.
As we communicate with this one during these times, there is a flow of images, sensations, a communication on a variety of levels. So it is not necessary for you to comprehend the words. It is the experience that is the communication. as with all communications, when you speak to one another, it is the experience that is most recalled as opposed to the words.
I had an interesting experience maybe 6 months ago. When I was in the middle of the night, there was a presence, there was a spirit in the room with me. And as I experienced that spirit in the room with me, I could feel my face changing. My face was morphing. And I got a little frightened. It's not a good word for it, but it was a little frightening, but not a lot. I thought it was normal and natural. But I think the point is, when you're in meditation, you have to realize that you're already perfect. There's nothing to really try to do because you are already perfect. So when you try to meditate and if you try to manipulate the mantra, it doesn't do any good. You just have to be there because you're trying to achieve something that you already are, but you don't understand it. And that's why when you take the course in meditation, they always stress is easy. And that always drove me nuts. Is easy. Well, compared to digging a ditch, yeah, it's easy. But I understand now what you're talking about. It's easy because you already are. You don't have to try to do it, you already are. If you don't understand it, you will. And that experience was over, but I've never forgotten it, how my face felt. If you really want to put it in words, which is very difficult to put into words, it's the face of Christ in you coming out. Your own true divine nature is who you are. I'm getting carried away, but this is the way it came across to me.
Yes.
So when you meditate, you don't have to make the mantra be om or om. It just comes to you normally and naturally, and it already is, because you already are. So the shucking and jiving you're doing all the time, trying to be something, you already are. We don't look like it on the surface. We don't look like it to other people. But they haven't had the experience that you have. You are the experiencer. So what was my face changing? It was the face of Christ. And I sort of wanted to jump up and go look in the mirror, but the time had passed. Came and it went, and that was the experience that I had. So if you were sitting around trying to manipulate the mantra for the last 50, 100 years, you just have to let it come, let it be. It will be, it will be. I don't know why I'm doing all this, but it's the way it came to me. It's an experience I got out of it without ever seeing that spirit. I could feel that, and it was profound. And that's it. That's my comment. It is experience.
Experience is the communication. Words are merely a vehicle, but the experience can be far more deeper, far more reaching than mere words. This is why you hear the terms, for those who can see, let them see. And those who can hear, let them hear. It is the experience. Any last inquiries?
No, me.
Then we bid you farewell.
Thank you for